I always love movies. I don't know why. It's not rational. But when you like read books, and you're making your own image, and then to all of a sudden like having like kind of a book unfold in front of you, it's kind of how it felt as a kid, Just the fantastic world, the emotional world as well.
From my generation, it was, every year, once a year, The Wizard of Oz was on TV, right? Not till years later, I realized this is 3-strip Technicolor raised to such a level in the art direction. Nothing looks like these movies. The color palette being chosen to emphasize the particular scenes or sequences to not just coincide with the emotional impact, but in many ways drive it. My name is Joshua Pines. What do I do? I'm a chief troublemaker and Luddite for a company called Picture Shop. Somehow, I don't know how this happened, over the years I acquired the title of color scientist. If you find out what a color scientist is, please let me know. But in general, everything having to do with color, either the spectral power distributions of light sources, how the cameras are capturing things, to how the camera's images are processed, and then all the way through to the distribution, exhibition.
I'm Maxine Gervais. I'm a colorist on movies. Basically, we retouch the image a little bit like you would retouch your photo with Photoshop. Like, it started a bit more traditional, where it would be more like mimicking what used to be done in a lab chemically. And it evolved into something that is now touching or borderline VFX. So there's been kind of this evolution. So think of your Instagram filter, but then you would have to go and change your face and change your shirt and the sky and key and everything. So, but on an entire movie.
Our main work is in the final color correction or color grading. We'll have a colorist who's an artist who works hand in hand normally with the DP and with the cinematographers and the directors to really fine-tune and set the look for the entire movie shot by shot.
My parents were really into movies. My dad had a tradition, like every Christmas we would watch, the Christmas typical movies, like especially Miracle sur la 34e Avenue. I know it in English as well, but we were watching like the dub version in French. And E.T. was filled with emotion, but also fantasies, The Goonies, like the scare, the first time you get scared.
My mother taught at Hofstra University, and so being college town, there used to be these movie theaters that would show different movies every day, old movies, not just the ones that were being released. They took me to see a double feature of Citizen Kane and The Informer. And Citizen Kane was first, and I watched it, then The Informer, and then, okay, they were getting ready to leave, and I remember saying, can I just see the beginning? I want to see the beginning of Citizen Kane again, just the first part. And I never left that movie theater.
So I was kind of surrounded by arts, but nobody really fully living of their art. Naturally, something kind of lined up that I ended up going to fine arts. But then I realized, I was like, there's no way. A family member was like, well, what about 3D? What about movie? What about VFX? There's this school that teaches these things. So I went and did like a postgraduate into they called it like a computer science for television and movies.
My parents were both mathematicians and engineers, heavy on the science stuff. Wound up going to school in Manhattan at a small place called Cooper Union. Art and science. It's the Cooper Union for the advancement of art and science. So I was studying math and physics, eventually switched to electrical engineering. Took a lot of courses in the art school. After graduation, I wound up teaching in the art school, in the film department. And so obviously there, the other faculty members, independent filmmakers and the artists who were taking these classes, all very, very obsessed with color. Some of that rubs off on you, right?
Fast forward, eventually I get a job with Discrete. So they acquired luster. That was brand new. You could argue like that's the real film sort of developed software. And when they acquired that, they put Vicky Lynn and myself to go out and be the technical support and, demo/everything. So I guess my name started traveling. Peter Dunn was doing Catwoman at Warner Brother with Jan Yarbrough. And they were looking for someone to help. Discreet recommends me. And all of that, eventually, he also needed help for another project, which was Harry Potter. The goal was like, okay, listen, you meet with Roger Pratt and Mike Newell. They're going to interview you. And if you pass the test, if they like you, then go ahead and, do me right? Like, don't mess this up. So that was my first gig, which is not a small one. But to be fair, there were very few of us doing that at that time.
It was sort of like I had these two resumes, and one was the computer programming and engineering resume, and the other one was the film. I wanted to be a film editor, especially a sound editor. Going on job interviews, they go, if it was for a programming or technical thing, it would be, oh, you're more creative. And if it was for film editing or film production, they'd be like, oh, well, you're more technical. And then this ad in the back of Trade magazine, they were looking for someone with a background in science and programming and also filmmaking. And it was like, what the hell is this? I went on the job interview. It was for a company called Magi, and they were working on a movie at the time called Tron. And I got the job, which is another very, very long story, but that was sort of it.